Okay, update. I made it to the beach and quite promptly got myself bogged. Now, there are reasons behind this and a story to go with it. So let's drive and we'll talk at the same time. Now, when I told you I dropped my pressures to 16, apparently I hadn't, because I wasn't using my reading glasses. I had dropped the pressure to 18, which isn't very good when you know you've got particularly squishy sand coming up, which I hit the particularly squishy sand because I had to, and I was trying to dodge the low water line. In doing so, found some really soft sand, and what I believe has happened was the gearbox got a little bit warm. So the engine decided, or the car decided I should say, to give it a breather, went into limp mode. Now, limp mode does not work when you're on soft sand. So I let it cool down a bit, which worked, and I backed it off the bit I was stuck on, only to get myself stuck somewhere else. Now, that's when I found out that I made a pressure mistake, because when I got stuck, I tried to get myself out a couple of times and just kept going out towards the water. I dropped the pressure then and realized that I wasn't actually on what I thought I was. Dropped it down to 13 then. Then I tried to get out with the use of max tracks, and the angle of the beach was about 3 or 4 times this, and I was about this close to the water. Now, every time I got up on the max tracks and started moving a metre or so, the whole car would cross up and I'd start going down. I only tried this a couple of times and got myself close to the water both times, and decided to call it then. I went and attempted to get some recovery people with help from Mum and Ruth. Thank you, my heroes. I'm going to go back up the top here. This stuff is really soft through there, but then you get these high water lines, which are actually quite good. This is actually what I was getting buried in the first time, stuff like this. But as you can see now, I'm fine. What happened? We tried to get through to Lancelin Towing. Well, we did get through to Lancelin Towing. We tried to get them to come out, but we couldn't arrange money to get there. I didn't have my credit card. Couldn't get through to Ruth. Mum tried, but she was using a debit card, which their system didn't accept because it was a debit card, not a credit card. So what we did, I rang them a couple of times, and one of the guys suggested that I let my pressures down below 10 pounds, and the battery problem, the problem with the engine light, if I just disconnect the battery, that should fix that. So I got back in the car, go down to these tracks here, because there's a few there, a bit harder. So after about 40 minutes, I went back to the car, let the pressures down to 8 or 9 pounds, and gave it a little go. And as soon as I started it, the engine light had turned itself off. And after reading the book, it said if the light continues to stay there, you've got a problem. If it goes away, you're fine. So it's gone away, and it stayed away. So it was just the gearbox getting warm through the softer sand, I believe. And in all that time, nobody passed me at all. Anyway, I started it back up and gave it a crack, and she drove away. Right, I'm guessing this must be some kind of a track that we get out onto here. Let's follow these. don't want to go too fast here because my tyres are so lackluster at the moment. That looks like the way out. Looks like a track out anyway. No camping, no fires. It's not me. Traffic hazard area. Excellent. I believe we have just completed the Lancelin to Wedge drive. Now, I would like to thank everybody who gave me advice and the guys from Lancelin Towing who gave me the advice that I needed. I was a bit scared of trying to move the car because it was going too close. He was absolutely certain that if I let the tyres down to below 10 pound, that it should just drive out of whatever I'm in. And he was absolutely 100% correct. So, the trek that's been eluding me for such a long time has finally been checked off the list, I believe. And yeah, I think these are the tracks pretty close to it. Seeing as everything's working fine and I've got the pressure's way down, I'm actually going to look for an inlet. How far does the bombing range go? Why am I asking you? You're people in the future. This is a problem for now, Dan. I would love to take a track like this all the way across because the beach was very soft. I know that I'd get back through it now with these pressures, and I'd rather do that than go all the way back along the highway because I wouldn't mind having him play in the dunes as well. So when we get to wherever this track ends up, if it is Wedge, which I believe it will be, and there's no inland track, which I don't think there is because of the bombing range, big decision, big decision. I got out and I got through. I may have a few ticks that I'll need to check over. I got a couple of sand flies, they're not bad. Ticks to worry about. Fortunately, I felt the tick biting me. Usually you don't feel ticks. You don't know about them until you suddenly realise you've got an extra wart that you never used to have. Sign there. Don't know what that sign was. These pressures, it's a lot easier than I've ever had it before. Yeah, I do believe I'm going to turn around and do the whole thing again in reverse. It's now 11 o'clock, I left it around 6, but I did spend about an hour and a half on my lonesome on the beach. I can't believe nobody passed me. I know it's a Friday and most people are at work, but yeah, it just seemed very strange. Right, I believe that over to the right of me was one of the first little bits I saw in the DVD I watched the other day, someone going back, and that is a refuse area. And we've got cars moving at pace up there, so that might be the highway. Or the road into Wedge. I don't really want to go on a road with my tyres as they are, because they are right down around 10 pounds. I reckon I'm really close. Excellent road ends. Right, this be it. Settlement of Wedge. I'm going to go through as deep as I can. I might get some water on the way out. Going to go as far towards the other side of the settlement as I can. I'll probably break this DVD down, this video down into a couple of pieces if I can. I'll work out the way. Now, I do not know my way around this place. I'm just going to stay on what I consider to be the outermost track for as long as I can and see where that gets me. I've been in here once before and was absolutely astounded at the quality of the shacks. As people, it's known as the Wedge Island shacks. Now, I thought that these were going to be like when I first came up and when I'd never been here before. I assumed it was going to be like Alaskan fishing shacks, basically a porta dunny, or maybe just big enough to put a couple of beds in. So when I actually saw this place for the first time, obviously I was astounded at what there actually is here. Clotheslines, bikes, sheds attached to houses, and the houses really aren't just, they're mainly metal, mainly sheet iron, but it's, I'd love to have a little squiz around through the middle of one just to see what it's like. I'm sure they'd be hot as bugger in summer. I mean, but a lot of them, they've got the water tanks on the top. They have solar huts, sheds, venting solutions, wind generators up there. I can't believe there's no wind here at the moment. But to have any power up here is obviously essential, because there's no government services out here. Everything out here, people have brought it out here themselves. People have set it all up themselves, as far as I know. Help from a few mates. There's aerials on most of the places, most of the shacks. And just the size of some of them. There are some that are double story. Okay, so we've got all the way through to the dunes on the other side. Now, I believe that continues on to Grey. I'm not going to do that. I do believe I'm going to turn around and head back to Lancelin though. Seeing as the pressures are what they are at the moment, might as well use them to the best of their ability. This must go back into a park. With the camping things. Now, I don't know if when people come to these shacks if it's considered camping or if people actually use this as their regular address. I don't think people actually constantly live here. I think it's people with serious weekend ideas and happy to have a holiday up here and happy to pull ticks out of their feet and stuff, legs and wherever, armpits, all the rest of it. Because I've been stuck twice now around this area, and the speed at which ticks can actually make their way into you or onto you is phenomenal. I think I'm just going to go up to the top of this dune and have a little look-see. It doesn't look too bad. Maybe I can kill two birds with one stone. Got no idea how hard this will be. Seems pretty far so far. Barely leaving a print behind me. It's a little bit weird up here. There's a lot of holes and stuff. I don't want to get stuck in a hole and stuff. There's a big drop off there, another one there. Alright. No. I'm going to go back to Lancelin and have a play on the dunes over there. Recovery's quicker from there anyway. And there'll be more people there. So, that's me done. Thanks everyone.